I'm Ash, and this is Chai and Matcha, where we try to have meaningful conversations about personal development, pop culture, mental health, the Desi community, and so much more. If you're into that kind of stuff, or just need someone to accompany you on your commute or when you're drinking your chai of the day, I hope you'll follow, comment, rate, all that jazz. I highly appreciate it. So today's topic is talking about fitness, health, basically having a more healthy lifestyle, and sort of like my journey with it, what I feel. As a South Asian person in Japan, as a woman, I feel there's a lot of different intersections and dissections. I could dissect this from a lot of point of view, lots of points of views. So I wanted to just talk more about that in general. Yeah. So I didn't really start incorporating healthy habits, like as in when it comes to like actually working out or any of those things, till like literally like a month before the pandemic hit. And I was like, you know what? I already got this going. Let's just keep the momentum going. And I was like, you know what? And it still goes on today. Like I literally bought a gym membership a month before the pandemic hit. Like talk about a wise investment, you know? Anyways, so literally I started working out in the beginning of pandemic, and when I first started, like it was a lot of like cardio, it was a lot of like just running on the treadmill and like making the strength training machines like an afterthought essentially. It was like, oh, if I have time after I run, I'll do it. And obviously didn't really lose any weight, didn't really get any definition in my body. Didn't really feel great. I just felt exhausted after every freaking session. I just felt freaking exhausted, and it was not a fun idea. So after that, I was like, you know what? After the pandemic, I was like, okay, well, I can't do cardio. I mean, I can do cardio, but like I am not a big fan. I can't really run because I was obviously afraid to go outside during the pandemic. Like I was terrified of like. Plus, I was in New York right at the beginning of the pandemic, so you know, we all remember what that was like. It was absolutely horrible. So, you know, like we were all afraid to just like leave our house, like even to go to the street, like a couple blocks down, I was terrified. So I didn't even like, let alone going on a run. That was just like unimaginable for me. So I was like, you know what? Okay, guess I'm not going on a run. I guess I could do like a little at home workouts, like push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. And like, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do these without equipment because I don't have any equipment. And yeah. And so then when I came back home to Japan, I essentially had a pair of dumbbells. They were extremely light. And I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. We're going to start off with these because I already gotten the form down when it comes to like working out because I worked out from home for like 3 months. I was like, you know what? Okay, time to move on to dumbbells. Now these dumbbells seemed like the heaviest thing on the planet. Yes, they were only like 4 kilograms each. Yes. But were they heavy as hell? Yeah, yes, they were. So after that, and then now that the things are opening up again, I finally actually went to the gym and go to the gym, and now I can go heavier with my equipment and stuff. But I think it really helped just like starting at home. Anyways, we're digressing off topic. I wanted to talk about fitness and the way that people think about it in South Asia, in East Asia, and just like fitness for women and the way that it's sort of like represented. So in South Asia, specifically I'm Indian, so I'm going to talk about the Indian aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure it relates to other countries in that region. So basically, like for us, health was sort of a afterthought. It was not ever talked about. It was never a priority on anyone's mind. I don't think I have seen a single person who actually valued and prioritized their health till like very, very recently, right? Where I've seen more and more people start to maybe like participate in it. But growing up, like, you know, people would just eat a lot and then do their like morning walks or their after dinner walks and think that, you know, that was it. Like when like obviously those walks, you know, you should be walking, but like that's not going to help you with your weight loss, right? Or like I thought that, you know, and that way, like, people would try to eat healthy, but then it wouldn't work. Or, like, they would just... And, like, the food conversation around food and nutrition and working out and health was very, very underdeveloped. It was more so just eat... Like, the things that I was told as a kid was, like, you know, you gotta eat less. You gotta eat fruits and vegetables, which is valid. And just, like, go to the gym and just run and run and run. And you will lose weight and you will look amazing. I thought that was so like hard because I did used to do that. PE was my absolute worst subject in in school. I absolutely hated it. That is another story. It gave me so much anxiety and stuff. It was like literally horrible for my mental health. Like, I'm just not a fan. But because like I genuinely believed that growing up, like even now, I was like, till like very recently, I genuinely believed that my body was never going to be something that I liked ever about my body. I was just gonna have to accept the way that it is and call it a day, kind of thing. That was the mindset that I had towards my body, because like I used to run a little bit on the treadmill, and go intense, and I would never see any improvements or anything. And I was like, you know what, like this is hopeless. Maybe a healthy body or a good body was not meant for me as a Indian person. And I hadn't seen anyone besides like models or like Bollywood actors or actresses that were absolutely jacked, right? I didn't see that. And like even then, like these women would promote like eating less or just running, yoga, and I was like, I do yoga and I do all these things and I still can't seem to find out how to freaking lose weight. Like, this makes no sense. I don't understand. Maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe some people are just naturally skinny and good for them, like, yeah. And so fitness in general was never really like prioritized for me or my family, or like I think in South Asia in general, it wasn't something that people ever thought about, which is so unhealthy, because it has been proven that we literally are so much more inclined to get diabetes and cardiovascular problems, and so much more, like literally I think it's like 6 times more than Europeans. And that is a staggering statistic. Staggering. Like literally we need to take care, and like obviously a lot of this has historical causes, like obviously because of colonization, going through lots and lots of famines and droughts and stuff, having very low amounts of food and starvation. Our bodies are sort of adapted to store fat, and like so that we don't starve to death, and so I understand and why our bodies do that. But like when you live in a world where starvation is not as, I guess, like it's not very possible, I think. I mean, obviously it is, but like it's probably unlikely. It's really hard to lose weight. It's really hard to lose fat. That can be extremely detrimental to your overall health and well-being and your like longevity of your life, So we do need to prioritize taking care of our bodies, taking care of our nutrition, our stuff. And I always used to demonize food, our ethnic food. I thought like I could not be healthy if I didn't eat, if I ate like home food. If I was eating Indian food, I was not going to be unhealthy. I was going to be unhealthy, and I needed to eat salads. And I was like, but I hate salads. So it was really hard for me to keep going on that trajectory, like keep eating salads, and because I wasn't happy. This was not sustainable. Not realizing that that was just another whitewashed version of what healthy food and nutrition is. Like healthy food and nutrition, it doesn't have to be just salads or white people food. Like you can be ethnic person and eat your culture's foods and still be healthy and just have a better lifestyle, right? Yeah, the same thing. Now, talking about growing up in Japan. Now, the definition of, I feel like women are supposed to be skinny, but not like muscular, if that makes sense. Like you should not be able to see that you worked out. You just want to look like you are naturally just like skinny. Like you want to look bony, like skinny, extremely just small. You don't want to look like you work out. You don't want to look any of these things. And that also was like, I was like, well, that isn't me. And like, if I do work out and I was trying to do cardio to try to achieve that look, but that wasn't working. And then doing strength training, that would make me look like I have muscles. And that wasn't the beauty standard. I was like, well, I guess it's a double-edged sword. I'm going to die. I'm not going to fit into any of these. And so what's the freaking point? Like, what's the point to all of this, And so navigating through that is extremely difficult. And I realized that so what about the beauty standard? You don't have to fit the beauty standard if you don't want to. You pick and choose from it if you want to try and for some certain things, and you're probably not going to, because a lot of those things that are part of the beauty standards are going to be innate or inherent things that you just grow up with, like the size, the color of your eyes, or how tall you're going to be, and all that stuff. It's like pretty determined from birth, and it's something that you can't really change. And so the beauty standard to me is pretty freaking stupid, but it's something that has been so ingrained in us that like it's hard for us to sort of navigate that space. Lastly, I do want to talk about the way that fitness is, I guess, quote unquote, marketed for men versus women, and how freaking frustrating it is, because ultimately we're trying to tell both men and women to work out, have about 150 minutes a week, I think it is, of moderate to intense activity, working out, go on walks and go on runs and do all that things, strength training, resistance training, as well as eating enough, eating your fruits and vegetables, getting your protein in, and all this stuff, right? Like the advice is mostly the same for both men and women. Yet the way that it is marketed, the way that it's presented to men and the way that it's presented to women is extremely different. And you can see it in the marketing for sports, nutrition, food, all that stuff, the imaging in the media. It's so freaking different, and it's essentially the same thing. So, for men, often it is a tool of empowering yourself, making you feel better, making you feel like you're powerful, making you, get it big, and like all these things like that are going to, make your life better and all these things, right? Sorry. But for women, on the other hand, it's sort of shown as a way to make yourself feel smaller, make sure you get more guys, make sure you, lose the weight, run intensely, don't eat as much. It's a tool of deprivation and oppression rather than empowerment, which would be so much more helpful in getting women to work out more, find themselves their places in the gym, find their place in the health industry. And, it's so sad that we as a society have not given women the opportunity to feel empowered within their own bodies by properly giving them the proper nutrition, training them, and just empowering their bodies to feel stronger or faster or more efficient, just like more mobile, in general. And it's really sad that that's the way that we've sort of decided to approach marketing for working out for women, because just as well that like women would so much more benefit feeling empowered within their bodies. And yes, I'm not telling every woman to go out there and become a bodybuilder or become a yoga queen or anything. I'm not saying that at all, but enjoying physical activity and enjoying to partake in healthy activities is not a crime. You can find a good balance in health where you're not demonizing exercise and you're not demonizing your body, and that's the best way to go about it, right? But we as people have made people demonize our bodies as though our bodies are something to fight against and like control it. We've got to put it in a cage, make it smaller, run as hard as you can, tire yourself out, and yet we don't show how amazing and beautiful our bodies can be and work and train to be stronger and all that. And it's like, it's so sad. It's just frustrating to see how the fitness industry has really, it's such a, first of all, a very misogynistic place. It's very much made for men. It's also made pretty much for white men because, let's be honest, the ethnic foods, things are not included in the fitness industry, So it's really, really sad to see. So yeah, I hope you learned something or you related to this episode in any way or shape or form, because I know fitness is a important part of our lives, and yet a lot of people don't take it seriously. I know that I didn't a couple of years ago, but it's something that's become actively one of my favorite parts of my day, and I hope that you are able to find something to do to become more healthy. Now, it doesn't have to be the gym, it doesn't have to be running, it doesn't have to be the stereotypical forms of exercise or anything that people talk about. I think there's a physical activity out there for everyone, whether it be dance, whether it be soccer, whether it be basketball, whether it be swimming, whether it be martial arts, whether it be anything. I think there's a type of physical activity out there for every single person. As much as you may think that you don't enjoy it, yes, it is different to watching Netflix and eating pizza on the couch. I understand that it is a different kind of enjoyment, but I think people will just you will enjoy a type of physical activity, physical movement, and your body will thank you for it, and your mind will thank you for it. The amount of mental health benefits, the physical health benefits, and your just like living longer and all that is so worth the pain and the just like the movement. It's so much. It's honestly just like a big rock, big boulder. Just it takes a lot longer to start it. It takes a lot longer to get the ball rolling, but once it does, I promise you will enjoy every step of the journey. You don't have to. Also, it is your own journey and not anyone else's. So I hope you enjoy it as much as you do, as you can. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, comment, and all of that. And please make sure to rate us on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Follow me on Instagram at Chai and Matcha, as well as my personal account at AshRosesXO. Till next time, bye!